And so to have somebody like Rita just sort of say, no, baby girl, fly. Do what you do. You will be heard here. She did that for all of us. And that is something I know me and my colleagues will be grateful for till the end of time. Steven has such great love for this film. I swear, while we were making this movie, he had the energy of a 12-year-old. And I was the one limping around. He's like running with joy and glee. And I'm just like, ow. But he loved the film so much. He really kept it under wraps and took care of it. He treated it like his baby. I'm unclear as to what I was hoping for out of the experience of working with Steven Spielberg. I don't know if I had any expectations. That's just from the space of, I didn't even think I was going to get the job. So after I got the job, I was like, I have no idea what is happening anymore. I'm just going to get on the ride. I think specifically to Steven, I watched that great Spielberg documentary, and you see different parts of his career, and you learn about his anxiety while he was making Jaws, and then you see some in real time footage while he was making Schindler's List, and there's a moment where he's giving a note to Liam Neeson, and Liam's like, I don't know how to smoke. What's happening? And I was like, it's a line reading. Oh no! And I was like, okay. So I'm just going to go in and be prepared for him to tell me exactly what he wants me to do and how he wants me to do it. And I'm just going to deliver because that is what is required for this director. And he blew my mind because he was just like, well, what do you want to do? And he let me run wild. The first thing he did was sit me down and we had a conversation about trust. And I told him, I was like, sir, I have trust issues. He was like, well, that's not good because... let's rethink this quickly. And ultimately, he just sort of eased my fears. He was like, I hired you because you are my Anita. I trust you with her. And I think it's the greatest gift that he gave me was to empower me to trust myself and to invite me on the journey with him. He never once made me feel like he was going to tell me what to do and I just needed to get on board. You know, he was not a dictator in any way. He was a collaborator.
There's a place for us somewhere, a place for us.
It's been a whirlwind. It's everything I at one point in time said I wanted. That I believe in the power of manifestation. You know, I was in Atlanta, Georgia doing Bring It On the Musical, and I was sitting on a couch with my friend Adrienne Warren, and I was like, it's full moon. Let's write down just like anything we would ever want to do if wishes were kittens. And I kid you not, just about everything I said I wanted to work towards or aspire to has already happened. And I am blown away by it. Now, that's not to say I didn't have to work incredibly hard and learn a hefty amount of lessons along the way, but I'm just astounded by the power of the universe and I don't know, just the moment I'm in. The atmosphere on set was always extraordinary because we all were coming to work, but it was like going to theater camp. And Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner are your camp counselors. Justin Peck is, leading the craziest dance warm-up of your life. So we had the greatest time. I feel like dance is, I speak dance better than I speak English, to be perfectly frank. The opportunity to work with a choreographer like Justin, who is so pedestrian in nature, he is so invested in the humanity of dance and the specificity of connection through movement. that I just tapped into all of that and sort of let Anita find herself through the movement, which is something that is, I think, rare these days. We don't make roles like this. Roles like this are number one. Anita in general is not written really anymore, but we definitely don't applaud or see roles that are steeped in dance and roles that allow dance to be used as storytelling mechanism in this way every day. Those, not since really Catherine Zeta-Jones was like the last person to do it in Chicago, and you've not since the days of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and Rita Hayworth and Vera Ellen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Did you really get performances like that? And Rita Moreno. It's such a special treat to have been given this opportunity, and also to have it received well, because I was really nervous that perhaps the time had come and gone for moments like this. When it comes to the matter of remaking or reimagining classics, I prefer the term reimagining. I believe in revivals. We revive shows on Broadway all the time. And the whole point is to infuse them with new energy, new life, and most importantly, new perspective. And that is exactly what Steven Spielberg wanted to do. So if there's ever an artist that is inclined to do that, hit me up, because I think it's important. Classics are meant to be retold. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. I believe in iconic storytelling, like the 1961 film of West Side Story. Jerry Robbins and that creative team deserve all of the, lore, legend, all of the adjectives that we use to describe them. They are worthy of all of that. And yet, it was not a perfect piece of art. Why? Because no piece of art is absolute perfection. Or at least that's where I start as a baseline as an artist. So there was always room for improvement, and there are some basics. The fact that you had brownface in your film, that's something that in a 2022 reality, there's no need for that anymore. This was also for me an opportunity to, for our creators to tell this story in a more respectful way, in regards to representing the Puerto Rican community, which I'm genuinely very proud of what we have on the screen. It is absolutely, thus far, it is the honor of my career, because I feel this way about the prom as well, with Alyssa Green in the prom, but specifically with Anita, I got to put a character on the screen that would have been someone I needed growing up, because I did not have any character in the media that I was consuming at the time that showed me that my identity was valid and real. That's why people talk about representation. That's why it matters. Now, it's been actually a really beautiful time for representation. We've seen so many articles about young people seeing themselves in Encanto, in an animated film. All of these like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds singing these songs, seeing, their image in these characters. That's what it's about, because we're from a young age, the media you consume, it matters. So that is why it's important to me that young women, young Afro-Latinos in general, can see themselves in this work. And I'm very proud of that. If it all ended tomorrow, at least I did that. You know what I mean? Like that sustains me.
If you go with him, no one will ever forgive you. Life matters even more than love.
Honestly, Rita and I didn't spend that much time together during this production. We did have a really epic day. Gustavo Dudamel was conducting the New York Phil for some of our pre-records, and myself, David Alvarez, my gorgeous Bernardo, some of the sharks, Rachel, Ansel, Mike Feist. We all went to Hammerstein Ballroom. And Rita was there. She was dressed up. She looked really nice. And I was like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, these like security guards come in. And there's Barack and Michelle Obama. And I was like, oh my gosh, seriously. NBD, they just had come to watch Gustavo do his thing, and apparently the Obamas are friends with Steven and his wonderful wife, Kate, and we all just hung out. And Rita, I think they were rehearsing part of Dance at the Gym, the Mambo, and she was like, Addie, is it too fast? Do you think it's too fast? And I was like, actually, I do, Rita. I think it's much good. You should say something. You go say something. And I was like, I'm gonna go say something. And then she like sat there and she watched me and she watched how I am. She goes, you said something. That was good. So there's like these little moments where she would empower me, and then she would like, you said something first, and now I'm gonna go say something. You still get nervous. And so to have somebody like Rita just sort of say, no, baby girl, fly. Do what you do. You will be heard here. That she did that for all of us. And that is something I know me and my colleagues will be grateful for till the end of time. Rita and I don't wax poetic about the awards of it all. Honestly, when we're together, she's telling stories. In fact, we just saw each other for a photo shoot recently, and we just, we were like freaking frack talking about theater stories and shooting the bull. And she was talking about her time in London when she played Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. And I love that character and I love that show. And so to hear her stories, like I was just soaking up all of her energy, and there was such joy on her face as she was telling these stories, and that's how we really spend our time and communicate. It's not that I don't think about the historical implications of everything that goes on in regards to this character. I got to make the movie, and it sounds cliche, but that was the win. Because at the end of the day, the movie's not going anywhere. I can't change it. It's out in the world. So I'm proud of the work. I'm blown away that I got the chance to make the work. We'll just see what happens. And you know what? I get to spend time with Rita Moreno every once in a while. And I certainly never thought I'd get that. You know what really gave me like pause and stopped me in my track? And it was from beginning to end. Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. That story, I didn't see it coming. And The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Jessica Chastain is just, wow, a revelation. You know who really got me through the making of West Side Story? Ana Perdita, my dresser. She saw me through a lot of different moments. It's a very personal thing, your relationship with your dresser. And she's incredible. In fact, we worked on Hamilton and something else together. But anyways, we have a history, and she speaks fluent DeBose, and I'm very grateful to her. Also, special shout out to Mitch Dubin, our camera operator, who taught me a lot about how to like make yourself look nice in the camera or be in the frame. He pulled a Jane Fonda and said, cool, so if you hit your mark, you'll be in the movie. David Alvarez, Bernardo, West Side Story. He is the most incredible scene stealer, in my opinion. I'm sorry, he's really sexy, and he's just so tell Tony. I look forward to that. Come on. And that the Rumble scene, his performance in the Rumble, yeah.